Welcome to another episode of the Tobago House of Assembly's Post-Executive Council Media Briefing. This week, the Secretary for Community Development, Enterprise Development and Labour, Marslyn Melville-Jack, addresses the media.
As the THA mandate has instructed, our division is focused on building sustainable communities through training and enterprise development. The division hosted a grand Y-Zone achievement ceremony on Thursday, the 6th of September, in recognition of the work completed by participants of 4 major programs during the July-August vacation. Now, you would remember that it was only in January of this year that the division instructed coordinators of this department to ensure that Y-zones were upgraded and that they were utilized to become not just youth-friendly spaces, but a safe haven for young people after school hours, maybe those who may not have an adult in the home at that period, so that they can use the Y-zones as homework centers or maybe just as places for reading. And this has been accomplished quite well in all 7 Y-zones. However, we felt that during the July-August vacation, when more students were out and there was a lot of time on their hands, we would provide programs that we felt would impact positively on our young people. And I'm proud to say that 91 persons participated in our summer programs, and they ranged from the ages of 6 years to 19 years. The 4 programs that were offered were broadcast media, mixology, and let me state that mixology was non-alcoholic, garment construction, and basic cosmetology. So just to tell you a little bit about those programs. In the broadcast media talk shop, it was to introduce youths to an exciting career in broadcast skills, with practical exposure to DJing, mixing, as well as exposure to the use of social media in their field. In the mixology program, the participants were exposed to the art and techniques of mixing non-alcoholic drinks, and they learned the basics of bartending. So they learned how to make smoothies, cocktails, and health drinks. The garment construction program is one that I am particularly pleased with, because for this period, the focus was directed on the construction of female school uniforms. And the objective was really to teach young girls to make their own school uniforms. And this served to not just save their parents additional expense, but to create opportunities for entrepreneurial activity in this area. And I'm very proud to say that of the 14 participants in this program, 6 of them made their own school uniforms to return to school. So here, it boosted their self-confidence as well as provided an avenue for them where they can take this to the next level. Basic cosmetology attracted 29 participants, and they were provided with the basics of facials, manicures, and pedicures. And the objective here was twofold. In the first instance, it was to boost their self-esteem. And in the other instance, it was to help them to appreciate how care of the face, hands, and feet would encourage them to become more confident and would seek to provide knowledge and certification in the field of cosmetology. So based on the success of this program and the overwhelming requests from parents and young people alike, we propose to offer additional programs over a 10-week period, commencing the 1st of October and ending at the beginning of December on the 8th. So at Speyside, young people can look forward to jewelry making, bookbinding, AC repairs, and art. At Argyle, introduction to makeup application, bookbinding, and basic plumbing. At Mason Hall, basic electrical and plumbing. At Lansford, we are introducing them to the Office Suite, Microsoft Office Suite, as well as digital photography and AC repairs. Plymouth, they would see a very interesting enterprise. They would learn to make underwear and sleepwear, as well as programs in art and basic electrical. At Mount Pleasant, basic cosmetology and the constructions of soft furnishings. So we are talking here about pillows and cushions. And at Calder Hall, introduction to makeup application as well as basic plumbing. But at these 7 Y zones, we are also going to take it a step further because we believe in using our internal officers who can provide additional information. So the OSH department will also be doing basic life-saving skills, something that I know would come in very handy for our young people. The business development unit would introduce them to starting up a business, and they would do workshops at every center, and there would be 2 sessions per location. And from the Department of Labor, we would have programs in resume writing and do's and don'ts of interviews and all the additional skills that are required when seeking employment. So at the Division of Community Development, Enterprise Development and Labor, we are committed to the holistic development of young people on the island. And in this regard, we want to welcome all the community groups within the island of Tobago to partner with us. And we will provide the space. They can come with their programs to us, and we will ensure that these programs are put forward within the communities in Tobago. So much about the Y zones. I want to talk a little bit now about a very topical issue, and that is the Road Market Experience. Now, I'm sure that you must have heard that on Thursday, the 30th of August, our division hosted its 3rd Road Market Experience at the strategic Strawberry Beach Facility car park. This was the 3rd in the series of successful road markets which were hosted this year. And we propose that in the new year, at least 2 road markets will be held per quarter. Now, the objectives of these road markets are many, but they all redound to the benefit of boosting entrepreneurship on the island. We also would like to encourage among our vendors the formation of partnerships and cooperatives for viability and sustainability of enterprises on the island. We want to create public awareness of locally manufactured and inspired products and services, which will help to boost the local tourism industry. We also seek to create opportunities for business to business and business to consumer networking and strategic linkages. We also propose to raise the standard and the quality of products and services being currently offered through effective marketing and promotion, which would encourage local vendors to start thinking globally. Because sometimes I don't think we realize that Trinidad is a market. We have 1.3 million people residing there, and we want to start with our closest market, and then we can look at the region and global. We also propose to maximize the export potential of locally produced products, and that's what I'm talking about. The Business Development Unit is currently seeking to promote an expo in Trinidad so that our Trinidadian clients can be exposed to the products and services that are basically Tobago. And we are hoping that before the end of the year, we'll be able to accomplish that. These road markets also seek to develop the 4 major sectors on the island: agriculture, tourism, ecotourism, as well as textiles and light manufacturing. We are also hoping to build the agricultural sector so that we can now reduce the dependency on food importation, as well as improving the island's food security. And last but not least, we want to create sustainable employment opportunities through the development of a robust private sector, because I'm sure that you will agree with me that the private sector on the island is very small and seems to be shrinking. So our primary purpose for hosting these night markets is to give the local entrepreneurs the confidence. They must so believe in their products that they will be able to take it out of Tobago and thus become the kind of entrepreneurs that we seek. Now, previously, the Division of Community Development and Culture would have hosted night markets, and they would have done this for more than 10 years. But this new division is taking it to another level. So we have changed the name. It's no longer Night Market. We have rebranded it as the Tobago Road Market Experience, because we are now expanding the participation. Previously, it was the graduates of the vocational skills program that would participate in these night markets, and it would be held at nights in the late evening. But now we've expanded that participation to small businessmen and farmers, because we really want to see the agricultural sector on the island grow. And we've extended the hours of business from 2 p.m. until 11 p.m. at night. The first road market was held on Government House Road, and there were only 18 vendors. And I'm going through this so that you can see the growth and development of this activity. The second road market was held at Gardenside Car Park, and there were 30 vendors. And I am proud to say that this last road market that we had consisted of 45 vendors. So we are getting better gradually, because I really believe that the vendors are now becoming more confident, and this is all that we seek. Now, the target area for these initiatives will include budding entrepreneurs, and it can be micro, small, or medium. And I am making this affirmation now because I believe there are some people out there who may not be aware that what they do, their passion, can now become income generating. So we are looking at agro-processing, agricultural products, cottage industry products, art and craft, local cuisine, ornamentals, bread, cake and pastries, sweets and confectionaries, processed fabrics, soaps, candles, body lotions, handbags, local punches and juices, leather craft, and locally constructed garments. So you can understand that the variety is really wide. Now, the recently hosted Road Market Experience that was held at Torbay was a tremendous success. From our estimation, approximately 200 persons visited the market, and that included local as well as domestic and international tourists. I think the venue was strategic in ensuring that persons who may have just come to Tobago to enjoy the scenery and have a bath, they had an opportunity there and then to see what we can produce. So over 60% of the vendors who participated reported sales of approximately 80% by 9 p.m. that evening. We went until 11. And to ensure that we receive value for money and that our investment is commensurate with the returns, we had our monitoring and evaluation team on site to gather primary data so that we would process this data and we can then estimate whether this venture was successful, and we can have an idea of what we can do to make it even better. So I'm going to share a little statistics with you right now from the surveys that were distributed. So there was a visitor survey as well as a vendor survey. So we wanted to see visitors' satisfaction as well as vendors. So these are some of the results. Now, 71 persons participated in this survey. That's the visitors survey. And of the 71 persons, 93% of them said that they were satisfied with the variety of goods that were offered at the road market. 89% of them indicated that the services that they received from the vendors were really up to par, so they were really satisfied with the service. And 86 of them indicated that they purchased items at the road market. Then we asked the question, how would they rate the activity? And 53 plus 30, so that's 83% of them said that the event was very good. What did they like most about the experience? The variety of local goods on display, the creativity that they saw in the artwork in some instances, and in the products that were produced, the entertainment, and the items they found were very reasonably priced. So these are some of the comments that we received from visitors to the road market. Now, vendors, on the other hand, as I said, there were 45 of them, and 33 vendors participated in the survey. And of those 33, because, sales are important, it's all well and good for us to put them out there and have road markets. But if they are not making money, then the event is really a waste of time. So 33 of the 33, 15 of them stated that their sales were just under $500 for the evening. 7 of them said that they made between $500 and $1,000. 5 vendors made sales in the vicinity of $1,000 to $1,500, and 4 vendors indicated that they made in excess of $1,500 in sales. So all in all, we felt that this is an activity that we would like to continue, and I know for a fact that vendors would like to see even more done. But at the division, we are all about growing entrepreneurs. So we would like to see in the not too distant future that members of communities would get themselves together and they would have periodical markets within their own communities. So one more thing I would like to share with you before we wrap it up. The 4th road market takes place at the Sid Gray Stadium. We begin from 2 p.m. in the afternoon and we will go until 11 p.m. What is interesting about the road market that we are having in the East is that most of the vendors would come from the East. In addition, the entertainers on the evening would come from the East as well. And this is our way of saying that throughout Tobago, entrepreneurs can make themselves can provide the kind of activity that will generate income anywhere, not only within their communities, but throughout Tobago and Trinidad by extension. So I invite all of you to make sure that you are a part of that activity. In closing, I would also like to invite you to our graduation ceremony on the 11th of October. You know that last year we would have graduated 772 participants in our vocational skills program. This year, 1,059 persons will be graduating from 23 skills area. Well, it has now outgrown our division, so we propose to use the Shore Park Cultural Complex, and I promise you that you will be blown away by the level of creativity and the professionalism of our people. So I invite members of the media once again, make sure you don't miss it, October 11th. We put out a media release earlier, which relates to all multi-purpose facilities on the island. And it says that the Division of Community Development, Enterprise Development and Labor wishes to inform the general public that all multi-purpose facilities will be staffed with multi-purpose facility coordinators by Monday the 3rd of September 2018. Now, these facilities, I would outline them to you because not all facilities are multi-purpose. The upgraded facilities that are equipped with computer rooms and, these are the facilities we are talking about. So Glamorgan, Canaan Bonaccord, Speyside, Betsy Hope, Calder Hall, Lambeau, Hampden Lowlands, Palatuvier, John Dial, Buku, and Bethesda. Now, all multipurpose facilities are to be used by the communities in which they are situated, and as such, all community groups, non-governmental organization, faith-based village council, everybody are welcome to utilize these facilities through the respective coordinators. All right? Now, what I would say concerning Calder Hall in particular is that they're a multipurpose center, but they would have had a temporary arrangement where there was a board managing, all right? And they would have been written as all the others. And those letters would have gone out in May of this year to say that we are in the process of interviewing because persons were holding on temporarily. But we had internal interviews for coordinators, and we have since allocated coordinators to all these centers. Now, what happened in Calder Hall is, although they were written to and they were asked to turn in their keys, they did not turn in their keys. All right? We have letters to prove that it was received. I would not have it with me, but it was received by a member of the village council. I think it was the secretary, and they were given a time period in which they should bring in the keys, and they were never brought in. So we had facilitators taking up residence over the weekend, so we had to literally break into the center to get the center ready, and as a result, we had to change the keys. We did not have that problem in any other center, only Scarborough Calder Hall. And the reason why we had to put in these coordinators, we don't always say everything, but when we came into office, we were presented with a bill of $95,000 for electricity in a center where the village council was supposed to be taking charge and paying all the bills. But we paid the bill because we had classes at the centers and they could not be interrupted. Okay? In addition, this year, we were presented with another bill for $40,000 for electricity again. When we came into office, we would have done an island-wide visit to communities, and the reports coming from the members of the village council were twofold. One, when they want the keys to use the center, it by somebody's house, and you have to wait forever to get a key. In some instances, they were not even allowed to use the facility. And we are of the view that every group in every community should have access to the centers. So the second complaint that we received from the majority of village councils were money issues. When the money came in, there was no proper accounting and accountability because they were allowed to rent the centers on their own and nobody knew where the money went. But in the centers where we had coordinators, we did not have that problem. Because what differs when you have a coordinator in the center, if you have to use the center, you are issued with a document which you take to the Division of Finance. And you pay to use the center at the Division of the Finance. So no money exchange hands at the level of the community center. And we have found that those centers are better managed and there are little issues cropping up. So all we did, this is nothing new. It is absolutely nothing new. This is something that we met and trained. All multipurpose centers are to be managed by center coordinators. It is a policy that we are working on because you would realize that not every center is at the level of the others. Some of them are really rundown. We have a lot of work to do with them. So we proposed even grading centers so that some may be A, B, C accordingly, and trying to see if we can control the fees that are charged. You understand? And I'm of the opinion that when you bring a center up to a certain level, that they should become multipurpose centers and be managed by coordinators. What I can tell you about Hampton Lowlands is that it's currently under repairs. And I am hopeful that by the end of October we can open it again to the public. There are serious issues with leaking, and we cannot rent a center that is not up to standard. So we were forced to close it off. But what we did is that we took care of the people who had previously made bookings. So we sent them to other centers, and in some instances we even took them into our facility at the division. The administration is entirely done by the coordinator. The village council, like any other community group, has access, to the use of the center. And what I want to specify to all community groups is that not having ownership, and I put that ownership in quotation marks, of a community center does not stop you from having activities and raising funds on your own. I always wonder what has happened, what has become of us, so that everything we do must come through the THA. They can still use the center, they can have the activities, and they can raise their own funds. And all we are saying is the coordinators in centers will now manage the activities of the center. No money will change hands at that level. It will go to the Division of Finance so that there's standardization across the board. I am of the opinion that it's because of poor management, and bills were left unpaid. And the way how T&Tech operates is that they don't cut you, especially if you are a community group or governmental, as the case may be. They would try as hard as possible to leave it on and hope that eventually you would pay the bill. Yeah, so that has been happening. Now, I must say that there are centers that are run, at this time they're not multipurpose centers, and they are run by village councils, and they are doing an excellent job. Accountability, very transparent. They never write to us to pay a bill, as the case may be, right? And I think one of those centers, I can even say, Canaan, Canby, Mount Pleasant, very, very professionally run. Yeah, very, very well done.
Thank you for staying with us for the Tobago House of Assembly's Post-Executive Council Media Briefing for the week ending September 22nd, 2018.